This isn't really what I'd call a rant about sex offenders actually being good for society or anything like that. It's more along the lines of how sex offenders are usually people we're supposed to trust by default, and usually we do trust them. And when, this happens, it's kind of shocking when we find out the truth. So when I was growing up, my stepdad was a volunteer fireman on a fire department in a really, really small town. These firemen were usually trusted and respected throughout the entire community as firemen usually are. Think about it. We say to our kids or others, "Oh, he's a fireman," or "He's a cop. He's there to help us and protect us and serve us. He's a good person." Never assuming for even a second that they may not actually be a good person. Anyway, you know, getting back to the story, my stepdad was on the volunteer fire department, and one of his buddies was also a fireman. He'd known him for quite some time. This man was also highly respected in the community, and he had a stepson that accused him of sexually abusing him. The normal reaction in other cases, when a kid comes out and accuses somebody of molesting them, is sort of, "Oh, I feel sorry for that kid," or "That person is horrible. Get them out of my sight." Even if you have no proof that the person did it, the community just kind of assumes that they did sometimes. But it seems that when society deems someone a sort of authority figure, like a fireman or a cop, or even, like a church priest, for instance, we instantly associate the fact that firemen are good, or cops are good, or churchgoers are usually good people, that with the assumption that, oh, they must also be good because they're in the role of that authority figure. When this boy accused this man of sexually abusing him, not one person in this community actually believed him for a second. Uh, Everybody seemed to shun him. Even his own mother kind of disowned him, as if the thought of being a fireman somehow made it, a fireman molesting a kid was somehow impossible. I sadly myself followed suit because I was just a stupid kid at the time. And my parents were like, "Oh, he's a good man. He's a fireman, so he must in turn be good." Uh, it came to pass that he went to jail for a really short time, not long enough, in my opinion, for someone that was a sex offender, but at the time nobody thought he was. After he got out, he was accepted back into the community as if nothing had even happened, while the kid he supposedly hurt was kind of ostracized completely from this community. A year or so passed, and my parents, if I'm remembering correctly, found a gun and bullets under my little brother's mattress. Eventually, it came out that he was molesting my little brother as well, and that my little brother was so deeply affected by this that he actually thought of committing suicide. I mean, I can only imagine what must have been going through my little brother's head because I've never actually been sexually abused. Uh, what this man must have told him to keep him from telling my parents or others. But if I had to take a guess, a crack at it, it would be something he would have told him something probably like things like, "Oh, I'm a fireman and everyone will believe me over you. Look at what happened to the other boy. Even his own mother believed me over him." And to a little kid coming from someone that's seen it happen before, this kind of sounds like, "Oh, it's happened before. It must be true." You know, all because he was an authority figure, he was able to get away with this shit for like a really long fucking time. It's kind of fucked up. Nobody even questioned the fact that he might be a bad, sick person. They used the label of fireman being good and associated it with, "Oh, he must also be good." I want to tie this in with other things we instantly assume. I'm an atheist. I used to be a Christian. I fell for something in the same way this community, myself and my parents, fell for the illusion that this man was a good person. Um, my parents, my family, the church leaders, and others in the community, my friends, uh, were Christian, and they told me I should be too. It was good for me. It wasn't supposed to be questioned. I never once thought that my parents or these others would lie to me, and in my eyes, they didn't. I mean, but just like they didn't lie to me about this man being bad because they didn't know, they just assumed. Doesn't it doesn't mean that they were right, just just like they were misled into believing things like God and Jesus, are real without proof, and that it was true. And we're not supposed to, like I said, question it. If we do, we're suddenly outcasts. We're the weird ones. Oh, you don't believe that? You're stupid. Just like the fireman's stepson wasn't supposed to question that his stepdad was a good person, and how he was sort of being crazy or seeking attention for doing so. Um, my point is, we're kind of brought up in this environment, this society where healthy skepticism, criticism, and questioning of anyone in sort of an authoritative position is somehow bad or wrong. The story of everyone accepting this fireman can be associated with other things, such as cops abusing their powers, or priests molesting little boys, or even family, friends, and parents and society in general telling us that we're not supposed to question these things like the norm. If you will, we need to kind of wake up and realize that this is not only arrogant, but kind of self destructive by nature. If you know, if your parents if a parent told a kid to walk, I mean, and a grown up kid, that is, like an adult kid, to walk off a cliff because God would save them, they'd probably look at them crazily unless they had something wrong. But if you told a little kid this kind of stuff enough, eventually they'd kind of come to the realization that, oh, they're my parents, they've never done anything to hurt me, so they must be telling me the truth. As we know, that's not right. Uh, I guess if you feel I'm wrong in any way, feel free to critique me. Uh, Correct me if you want. I'm open to this stuff. I mean, I'd kind of be offended if I was wrong and someone didn't correct me in some way. It's a bad thing to not be open to being corrected, because I'm not even afraid of being like wrong, for instance, because when someone corrects you for being wrong, that's kind of how you learn new things, and that's all I'm really trying to do, is learn new things. I guess thanks, and yeah.